Magic, Rude, Hutchinson's #1 hit music station, My 93.1 with Darren Dunn, 7:07 on your Wednesday hump day morning, starting off the Bob Walker Tribute Show. And for it, we've already brought in our very own Casey Osborne. You can catch him in your weekday afternoons from 2 to 6. Casey, how are you?
I'm good, Darren.
A early morning drive-in, or an early morning drive-in, I should say. And what I was thinking about over the years, the morning show is what Bob has done, especially here, for over 15 years. I've been filling in for the last couple of months, and I've been intermittent here and there. You've had morning shows in the past. You've done morning shows for Bob, filled in here and there. What is it like getting up early in the morning like that? Not necessarily consistently, because we don't always do it consistently. Sometimes it's one day at a time, out of a couple of months or out of a couple of weeks. But for Bob to do it over 15 years, that is just incredible, to get up that early every single day of the week, 365 days a year pretty much.
Yeah, it takes a special personality to be able to do what Bob did. Anybody can get up at 5 o'clock and get here at 6 o'clock and do a show. But to be able to have energy and, bring laughter to people day after day after day, that takes a very special, rare breed of disc jockey, if you will, which the name is kind of outdated nowadays, but very rare breed of broadcaster, I guess, that you just don't find very often. It's very tough. Getting up at 5 a.m., your natural instinct is to wake up, take your time, but you've got to be the person to do the waking up for other people. So Bob was a master. That was one of his many talents. Probably we're going to get into this, and I want to talk a bit about my relationship with Bob here. We're going to talk to several people that have worked with Bob over the years. We're going to talk to him both in person and over the phone. We're going to play. I got about 2 or 3 dozen Bob Walker audio clips I put together. Most of this stuff is from the olden days, from the 80s. There is some stuff from the 90s, but it's Bob Walker stuff. Some of his great characters over the years. He had Ty Score. He had Fester, Uncle Fester. He had a lot of different characters. We're going to play some of that back over the next couple of hours and just kind of remember a guy that for so many years, remember this guy was in radio since the 60s. So he's been around for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, that's the incredible thing. And most of the people that I'm around today have been doing what they've been doing longer than I've been alive. And so it's kind of interesting to try to, rub elbows with these types of people. But you're exactly right. This is a guy that, with all these different characters, that's not necessarily something you hear a lot in radio anymore. I mean, it used to be that, you'd have these shows where one guy's doing all these different characters and he's making people laugh in different ways. And Bob was one of those guys. And you say that, disc jockey is kind of an outdated term, but at the same time, that's who he was. That's what he grew up with. And that's really what he continued to do to bring to this generation, a generation of people that wouldn't necessarily have had that with somebody younger.
Yeah, he was old school. Bob was old school. He was from the olden days, and he would admit that. He was, I think, permanently stuck in the decade of the 1960s. And, that's fine. But, I listen to some of these bits from the 80s. He talks about he calls it the old Dick Van Dyke Show, right? And I heard him 6 months ago on this radio station talk about the old Dick Van Dyke Show. Like it was still just as new now as it was in 1981. But that was part of his charm, and we're going to miss that a lot. We're going to get to some audio bits. We're going to talk to some guys here in a couple of minutes. We got to take a break now, but on the way we'll hear, we have so much to get to as far as audio clips. We'll start getting into it here in a couple of minutes on the Bob Walker Tribute Show, 7-11 right now at My 93.1.
This is Phil with Mel Hamilton Ford. The 2015 Ford Escape is one of Edmunds.com's favorite small crossover utility vehicles. Right now, up to $2,500 in rebates, or lease an Escape S for 39 months and drive it 10,500 miles per year for only $298 a month. Zero out of your pocket, taxes included, nothing to add. Yes, that's a new SUV for under $300 a month. We have over 60 Escapes to choose from, so you'll know we'll have the one you're looking for. Check us out online at mhford.com and come let me show you why we say we're better, we're proving it. You be the judge.
Collins Bus Bus is hiring. Come work for Collins Bus Corporation, the world's largest small school bus manufacturer in a team-based environment. We want you to apply at collinsbus.com if you have experience in one of the following positions: automotive painter and body prep, welder, CNC brake operator, fab operator, auto technician and electrician, and AC installer. Pay ranges up to $22 per hour depending on experience. And Collins Bus offers an excellent benefits package, a 401k plan with company match, and paid holidays. Experienced and qualified individuals can apply online at collinsbus.com. Join the Collins Bus team today.
One of the greatest things about gardening is that you'll literally reap what you sow. Whatever you put into your garden, you'll most certainly get 5-fold, 20-fold or more. Like Ben Miller here for Stiscom's Greenhouse. Yes, it's that time of year to sow and grow seed potatoes, onion sets, and get your bulk and prepackaged seeds. You'll love the sowing reaping principle, so get ready to plant and enjoy great tasting healthy food later. And while you're at the greenhouse, come see the really cool gifts for spring in our newly remodeled gift gallery.
Greenhouse, everything's green, boss.
See more at systems.com and on Facebook.
Service and attention to detail is not lost at Jim's Appliances of Inman. We are the place to go for your next Whirlpool, KitchenAid, or Maytag appliance. We have the newest models for the best prices. We offer free financing, professional delivery, and complete service department that will come to you if you ever have concerns with your appliance. There's good reason we are the area's largest independent dealer, and we're selected as the best place to buy your next appliance.
Jim's Appliances of Inman.
Love it tender, love that meat. Poe's Barbecue's what I want to eat. I'm Lacey with Poe's Barbecue. We're excited to announce we have opened at the food court in the Hutchinson Mall. Poe's Barbecue is a great place to stop while you're out shopping or if you just want to eat from our savory menu. Follow that barbecue aroma and come on in and sit a spell at Poe's Barbecue, located at the food court in the Hutchinson Mall. Don't forget our catering service. Call us at 620-259-7553. Love it tender, love that meat. Poe's Barbecue's what I want to eat.
7:13 at My 93.1. Good morning. It's the Bob Walker Tribute Show. I do want to tell you that we do have a card, one of those huge 5x7 poster board type cards we put together, pictures of Bob on it, and we invite you to come by the station anytime this week and sign that. It's more or less just for yourself, for us to have something tangible, a way to say goodbye for Bob. So if you'd like to come in and sign your name or put a message on that, more than welcome to do that here at the 9th and Main Eco Media Center. So, Darren, I've got I struggled here to find the first audio bit to play, and I decided the best one to pick first would be one that was, this is from 1986, January 1986. Now, back in those days, Bob worked with a guy named Terry Michaels on the radio, and I hope to get Terry in here later today, by the way, but Terry and Bob were a team on the air in mornings for many, many years. And so you're going to hear a lot of Terry this morning. I told him yesterday, and he didn't like to hear that, but it's some of the best stuff that was ever done in radio in South Central Kansas came from Bob and Terry. So I decided to pull one of these bits here. This is actually their first bit of the day. It was like at 6:05 in the morning, and you can tell by their lack of, okay, we're just getting up. Okay, it's a time to talk. Okay, because as a DJ, when you're, especially morning show, sometimes it takes you a few minutes to get wound up and ready to go. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, because there's a lot that goes into, especially when you wake up that early in the morning. Obviously, your voice is not where it is the rest of the day.
Right.
So there's a little bit of warm-up that goes there, but you also have to warm up your brain.
Well, exactly.
Because if your brain isn't functioning and you can't think, it's hard to recognize whether or not you're actually pumping people up or whether you're just kind of in a little bit of a slump.
And this audio clip illustrates how incredibly good Bob Walker and Terry, for that matter, both, but Bob was so good. In fact, I would almost venture to say even better when he wasn't really prepped. Scary things could happen when that was the case, but the guy was just funny. All right, here's the clip from January 86, 6:05 a.m., the first clip from the old Bob and Terry show.
Well, I don't think I was fingering that horn right there. It's 6:04. Honk, honk, good morning. Get out of that bed. Oh, boy, what a game last night. Did it wear you out like it did me?
Yeah, and you said you didn't like college basketball.
Oh, I enjoyed that KU game last night. KU beat them by 6, I think. What is it, at the end?
98-92, yeah. That was a good game.
Yeah.
I had a lot more respect for Oklahoma than I did.
Yeah, I do, too.
Oklahoma, particularly their their forward, Chew Kennedy.
Yeah, Chew.
Kid is really good.
Lightning, huh?
He's only 6'5", and yet he can do most anything. That was a good game.
Yeah, not to overshadow Mr. Dreiling of KU.
Who's not to overshadow him? Oh, Kennedy?
Yeah. Boy, what a game. Wings lost last night, though. Dallas 3, the Wings 2. And doggone it, Butler County beat JUCO 87-79.
That was a good game. K-State, of course, lost 2 last night.
Did they?
To Missouri by 474-70.
Oh.
So KU seems to be the only one that's come out on top last night. So we'll try and do better next time, I guess.
Well, I'll just have to confess I really enjoyed the game, and I'm sorry for all my ranting and raving about basketball not being fun on TV.
Yeah, don't ever say
I
that.
won't ever rant and rave again. Yeah.
What were you doing?
605. Just looking at this water tower on the front page of the Hutch News. Workers for the Don Carter Industries of Wichita get a bird's eye view of Hutchinson from the precarious perch atop our city's number 2 water tower. Northwest 30th and Monroe, that big old bubble up there. Mm-hmm. Looks like a giant pimple in the sky. Wouldn't that be neat to go up on top of that?
I wouldn't like it. I'd probably fall off and be scared to death.
Oh, I've got a fear of heights.
I really do have a fear.
Oh, it's awful. They say we should parachute jump.
To overcome that?
Yeah, to overcome that. Oh, I think my skin would come off.
I wouldn't want to try.
Could you imagine sitting there at the door and thinking, I'm going to jump out of this plane?
I always see the TV commercial about the Army people where they do more before 9 o'clock. They do all day. And I see those guys jumping out of the plane and being pushed.
Ooh.
Never do that. Never do that.
Oh, my word.
But it's going to be colder today, speaking of...
Yeah.
A little bit colder than it's been.
It's only 22. That's all we can eke out of the KSK thermometer.
And they're saying rain when towards the end of the week, maybe on the weekend.
Yeah.
Chance of rain on Saturday, a little bit colder.
There you go. That's some good Bob stuff from 1986 there, January, with Bob and Terry. And that was the first break of the day. You can tell they wanted to talk about the KU game. They wanted to talk about the weather. It was kind of, let's get into it, but let's not know how we're going to get into it. But entertaining.
I wouldn't say I'm deathly afraid of pauses, but I don't like long moments of silence, and they had a ton of those.
I like a giant pimple in the sky.
Yeah. Only Bob.
I mean, you can't come up with stuff like that. It's just spontaneous.
I think my favorite part of the whole thing is you mentioned Terry Michaels and, of course, Bob Walker. Obviously, names for the radio, and that's something that we've kind of gone away from in today's society. I mean, you and I, we use our regular names. Back then, though, they were kind of trying to make sure that nobody knew exactly who they were because people would, maybe harass them or send letters and different things. So I think it's interesting to know that they were still using fake names back then, especially Terry. That's the first time I heard that he was Terry Michaels. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, Terry Michaels. All right, we'll get to some more audio clips in a couple of minutes, and we're going to talk to Dan Holliday, one of Bob's longtime friends and co-workers, also Craig Hubbard. We're going to talk to him and just talk about Bob and continue on here with the Bob Walker Tribute Show at 7:19 at My 93.1. It's not 22, by the way, what Bob said in that weather forecast. It's actually better. It's 36. Let's get you a news update with Rod.
Morning, a local woman scheduled to be in court Wednesday where she may enter a plea on a charge of indecent liberties with a child. Samantha Otterbein is accused of inappropriate contact with a 15-year-old girl back in July of 2014. The crime could see her get more than 11 years in prison. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt has filed a federal lawsuit to block plans by the Quapaw tribe in northeast Oklahoma to expand a casino across the state line. Lawsuit filed by Schmidt challenges a decision in November by the National Indian Gaming Commission to clear the way for casino games on 124 acres of land in Cherokee County in southeast Kansas. Schmidt contends the commission exceeded its legal authority. A remote swath of beach between Pensacola and Destin, Florida, is the scene of a search today for 7 Marines and 4 soldiers missing after an Army helicopter crashed during a night training exercise. Eldon Air Force Base officials say the helicopter was reported missing around 8:30 p.m. Tuesday, and a search and rescue crews found debris earlier this morning. In sports, Hutchinson High School basketball coach Nate Henry has resigned. Henry's Salthawks were just 4-17 on the season. HCC softball team takes a pair of games from Cloud County, 4-2 and 12-4. HCC baseball team defeats Northern Oklahoma College 18-7. Kansas City Chiefs say they will release wide receiver Dwayne Bowe, according to sources. That release expected to happen today. And the Kansas City Royals lost in exhibition baseball yesterday by a score of 6-2. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average will start the day at 17,662 after losing 332 points in yesterday's trading. For more news, weather, and sports, go to HutchPost.com. Your forecast is next from the Eagle Media Center. I'm Rod Zook.
Hi folks, Wes Thomas, Midwest Ford in Hutchinson. March is here and that means that truck month is in full swing. For 38 years running, the F-150 has been the #1 selling truck in the country. The time to buy is now and no one saves you more than Midwest Ford. Like this 2014 F-150 Super Crew 4-wheel drive for only $29,899. Remember, better people plus better prices equal better deals. Come see us, 1100 East 30th or online at MidwestSuperstore.com.
Admin fee not included. Tax, title, and license extra. See dealer for details.
It's time for those tax refunds, and Your Wireless World has the device you've been saving for. Hi, this is Jake Martin at Your Wireless World. Have a refund coming? Come get the amazing Samsung Galaxy S5 that is not only fast, but has an amazing 16-megapixel camera. Or how about the very cool Samsung Note 3? iPhone 5, LGs, Motorola's, we have a large selection of 4G LTE phones that fit your budget. All backed by America's best network. Your Wireless World, First Main McPherson, and in the Hutchinson Mall.
Make it a day with us in Kingman. Whether you're coming to stroll downtown at one of our local merchants or stopping for a bite to eat, Kingman has more than one reason to enjoy spending the day with us.
Nicer weather is on the way, and Harold's Outdoor Haven has everything you need in one stop for outdoor entertainment. Get your fishing tackle plus live bait and stock up on your firearms and ammunition and archery supplies too. Harold's Outdoor Haven in Kingman, your one stop for outdoor entertainment on Highway 54 and online at harroldsoutdoorhaven.com and find us on Facebook. YourHydrogen.com is easy, safe, and durable. Your Hydrogen is the dealer of the most advanced on-demand hydrogen injection systems in the world. The proven benefits of hydrogen include significantly increased fuel efficiency, increased engine performance, and perhaps more importantly, reduces emissions that is so much better for our environment. YourHydrogen.com.
Come spend the day with us, where we are working together to make Kingman an exciting destination of dining, shopping, and recreation. Visit us online at kingmancc.com.
What is the Heartland Way? It's our credit union's philosophy of how we treat our members with every interaction and go beyond delivering valuable financial solutions.
The Heartland Credit Union Way is convenient. Hi, I'm Erica Graber, Assistant Vault Teller. By providing a wide range of products, our members can find services well suited for their wants and needs.
Convenient. It's the Heartland Way. Heartland Credit Union in Hutchinson, Haven, Newton, Wichita, and online at www.hcu.coop.
All right, 724 at My 93.1. It's Casey Osborne, Darren Dunn. And on the phone, as we continue on here with the Bob Walker Tribute Show, is Dan Holliday. Dan is in Kansas City, and you're a big weather guy, but you're also a big radio guy, too. And I can't hear you. Hold on, Dan. There we go. My bad. The button wasn't pushed in, man. There you go.
Oh, well, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me on this morning. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for being on. So you and Bob, talk about your relationship with Bob. You guys go way, 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 way back.
Yeah, it was quite a ways back, and it was interesting. I was working at a top 40 station in Wichita, and he was on the country station, which was known at the time, formerly known as Kissin', and he was. It was interesting. We were doing a live broadcast at the amusement park that is now no more, Joyland. You guys remember that?
Yep.
And it was interesting because we were doing this live broadcast. It's in the middle of the afternoon. Bob happened to be on vacation, and I hear somebody going, wee, on the tilt-a-whirl, and he is by himself riding the tilt-a-whirl, and he comes off the tilt-a-whirl, and he introduces himself, and he says hi, and of course we're talking radio, and that's kind of how I really got to know Bob, is that bizarre scene of him riding by himself on a ride out in the middle of an amusement park. But that was probably about 1990 or 91.
And that sounds so Bob too. That story.
Yeah.
And you guys have been close since, because I know a lot of times he'll go on vacation and he'll say, "Yeah, I'm going to go see Dan. I'm going to go see Dan for a couple days."
About once a year, he would come up and visit in Kansas City, and much like that, he would come to a Royals game and stop by and want to go out for barbecue and eat that. And he, just the stories, and I worked with him also for 10 years in radio, and I did the midday show, and he came on and did afternoons following that, and just every day was completely different. You guys remember the viral story on social media with the dress, where some people saw blue and black on the dress, and some people saw white and gold, and I think Bob saw red and pink purple dots. He just saw the world completely different than the rest of us, and was able to portray that on the air. And when I was young and wanted to be in radio, it was 1980, and I listened to Bob and Terry all the time about how cool it was. Either Tim Peters or Bob and Terry, either of those guys, when I was going to school, and I thought I'd love to be them, but you just can't be Bob. You have to be yourself. But boy, I mean, you talk about an original. He was it, and everybody thought he was the coolest thing in the world, even back in those days, and he was able to do it for so long.
Yeah, I listened to Bob and Terry when I was a kid too. Same thing. I wanted to be like them. Can't be like them. You got to be yourself. But they were such an inspiration for so many people in radio.
Yes, absolutely. All the characters that he would bring to life, and there were so many stories. Working alongside with him at the radio station in Wichita, we spent years watching him do the Grandma Grits character, where he would have this whole, he didn't know what he was going to say, but he would get into the voice of, oh, good heavens, he'd do that whole thing, which was sort of a takeoff on Jonathan Winters, and he would have all the spacing, and he would record Grandma out, and then he would come on live, as you guys know, and he would interact with Grandma, and just as if he could see the characters, you could drive down the road and hear them and think Grandma was really in the studio, and it was all so creatively done.
Yeah, it's so hard to do that. In fact, I'm finding a bit right now as you speak here, Dan, one of that you just described. This is one, let me see here. It's one exactly like that, where Bob pre-records the character's voice. Mm-hmm. Let me find this, because you mentioned that, and I'm like, oh, we need to play that. He records the Mr. Rogers. There it is. Okay, Bob Walker, Mr. Rogers. This is him doing Mr. Rogers. I'm going to play this. You should be able to hear this. And both voices, obviously, Bob is Bob, and then Mr. Rogers also is Bob, but he recorded the Mr. Rogers part in advance. This is about a minute-long clip. This just shows the talent. Aside from all the other personality traits, the humor and the timing, just the talent that Bob had.
Bob Walker Morning Show, where you are the star. Let us know your birthday names. We got a bunch of them burning the lines up here. We'll try to get to as many as we can. It's 7:08, 8 after 7. The dawn of a new Friday. All the birdies in the trees waking up saying, thank you, Lord, for a new day. Let's take a walk in the neighborhood, in the neighborhood. Hello there, Bob. I think it's time for all the boys and girls to wash their faces. Yeah. Clean out all their little eye sockets and get ready for Friday. It's a Friday. I played baseball with the team last night. Oh, they were kind of dirty. Kind of dirty? What do you mean? One guy was so dirty, he could melt a Minnon speed stick at 20 paces. Did you say really, Ricky? Really, Ricky? Sure. I don't believe you said that. It tickled me when you get so jolly. Oh, boy. Before I became Mr. Rogers... Yeah, why'd you do that? Actually, I came to the station from the French Underground. The French Underground? That was where I worked for Paris Roto-Rooter. There's a good show on TV tonight. You hadn't heard? No. Oh, Dolly Parton stars as a lady detective in Hawaii. Oh, really? What's it called? Magnum 44D. Arcadia.
Okay, there's some Bob from September 1982 is when that was.
Oh, just how he we talk about the timing. The timing had to be perfect for him to interact with that, and he did it so well. And I just remember side hurting laughing at him on the way to school in the morning. He just had a way to do it.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to bring up, and I mentioned this to you off the air, is about a year ago we lost Tim Peters. Mm-hmm. And you did a great tribute show down at a Wichita radio station for Tim Peters. And Bob and I were speaking about that at a later date, couple days later. And he mentioned to me, he said, you ought to do something like that for me when I die. Kind of in a joking way. He was joking around kind of thing. I'm like, yeah, maybe I will, and then you told me he told you the same thing. So he really wanted people to remember him. And, man, he has so much audio that really should be in a museum when you think about it.
Absolutely, he was, like we say, he was an original, and it's just an original, somebody you can't replace. You can only learn from and try and for those aspiring to be in radio, you take people like him and you maybe you take a little piece of what they did into what you do, and you try to make yourself better. But you're exactly right. He came up to me at Tim's Celebration of Life, and he said, I was listening to that show, and he said I was in tears, and I just hope when I pass that somebody does something like that for me. And I think it's wonderful what you guys are doing, and just one of the thoughts I had the opportunity to talk to Bob by phone. It was about a week ago Saturday, would have been the 28th, and it was after the Shockers beat Northern Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
And he had called just out of the blue, and he says, wasn't that a great game, and he talked about all the things going on and how he was feeling, and we knew that his health was declining, but he was still joking like always, and at the very end he said, well, I better go. And I said, what, are you watching the KU Texas game? And he said, no, I got to get this shirt back to the rental by 5. So it was just always a one-liner with him all the time, so always joking.
That's great. All right, Dan, well, I appreciate you talking to us, and we're going to miss Bob very, very much, and thanks for your thoughts and insight into Bob, which, he's a character. Always will be. I'll never forget Bob.
You know it, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much.
All right, take care, Dan.
You too.
All right, bye.
Bye.
7:32 right now at My 93.1. And Darren, you hear that bit that we played there with Mr. Rogers. Can you imagine, doing the voice of Mr. Rogers and then coming back and then you play on the air and then you're doing your part live? But the timing's got to be exact.
Yeah, I've often thought about it, doing something like that. But that's really one of the unique things that Bob had that not many people can do. And as you guys keep mentioning, and we'll say it till we're blue in the face, the timing. You have to be impeccable. You have to remember, okay, what did I record? And how do I set that up so that it's funny for people? To where he's not, necessarily just walking over the other character, but what he says live is complimenting what he's already recorded.
Right. Let's do another bit here. I've got so many that we have to play. We have to get to them here. We're gonna miss out. How about a Modine character? Are you familiar with Modine?
A lot of these characters that you're naming off, I'm excited to hear because I've never have heard any of these.
I'll tell you very briefly here the background on these characters. He was famous for these characters. He had probably, I don't know how many, over half a dozen. And he stopped doing those characters on My 93.1 probably in the range of, 9 or 10 years ago. But early in his My 93.1 days, in 2004, 2005, when he started at this station, he was doing some of these characters. So you may have heard them, but they were really prominent back in the 80s and I assume the 90s too. But here, let's do a Modine bit here. This is, let me get a date here just so we can put this in context. This is from 1986, another Bob and Terry Michaels bit of Modine.
Oh, boy.
Talking about the outside, not Modine.
I'm glad you can read the weather forecast intelligently.
At least I can read.
You're the only person I know that goes on...
What?
You go on color TV, and you come out black and white. You better stop saying those things to me.
I'm not doing anything to you.
Well, we're going to have a rumble here today before...
That's the way she always talks. You got to talk to her that way to get along.
I'm fed up with you this morning. You about as irritating as my husband Roy.
You got to stoop down lower, Bob, and kind of get on her level.
You got to kind of lower.
Yeah, you got to understand.
Well, you stupid anyway, Bob. Can't you sit up straight like decent people?
All right, I'm sitting up straight, but now I'm far away from the mic.
Oh, Mr. Comedy.
Well, let's move on to something a little bit more enlightening. I heard that your husband Roy was involved with a little bit of fire activity last night, but it was a false alarm, wasn't it?
He working part-time for the fire department.
Yeah, it was a false alarm last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
You probably hear a lot of scoop on the inside of the fire department, don't you?
I do. I know everything that needs to be known. You just ask me anything about firemanship.
Does he say anything
what
to you?
What do they do when they first come to a fire? What are the steps?
That was good.
Oh, that's a good question, Bob.
Boy,
Georgia State education paid off. Yeah, what they do is, Well, they bust out all the windows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they hose down all the hot spots.
Right.
Remove all the animals. If there might be a little doggy. Strip down all the curtains what might catch fire.
All right.
And then the most important thing.
What's that?
They check to see if it's the right address. They all play a commercial.
Yeah, announcing the new one.
All right, there's Bob and one of his favorite characters, Modine, from January of '86.
That right there has a lot of Eddie Murphy quality, and if you think about it, that's kind of Donkey's voice before Donkey was Donkey.
Yeah, he was kind of a little bit of Shrek feel there, the donkey and Shrek. All right, we got a lot more to get to. We're going to talk to Craig Hubbard here in a few minutes, who is a longtime friend and co-worker of Bob Walker, and tons of classic Bob Walker audio here as our Bob Walker tribute continues. 7:36 right now at My 93.1. Good morning.
Do you ever feel like that payday loan has you on a treadmill, running faster and faster but never getting anywhere? Community Finance offers loans with low monthly payments with an end in sight. Slow down and see us at Community Finance inside CB&T at A in Washington.
Barclay College has always been known for delivering quality, Christ-centered higher education, and most recently has been named a candidate for accreditation with the Higher Learning Commission. Barclay College offers bachelor's and associate's degrees in a variety of ministry and professional fields of study, such as youth ministry, missions, business administration, psychology and family studies, and elementary education. Visit barclaycollege.edu or call 800-862-0226 to learn more.
So bright. Beautiful.
Frank.
HD.
Frank, you're dreaming.
Sorry, it was about a great big TV. It was sweet.
Don't bring those tiny dreams to the marriage bed.
Who are you?
Where's my wife? I'm the Kansas Lottery Dream Sergeant. I show up when your dreams are small.
I thought my dreams were a decent size.
You need to dream bigger.
Okay.
Dream about big jackpots, millions of dollars. The Kansas Lottery Powerball is waiting, Frank. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Ready for what?
Honey, you are just a mean drill sergeant.
I'll pretend you didn't say that, Frank. Oh, you're obviously dreaming.
Then why do I have this Powerball ticket in my hand?
Don't talk back to your wife, Frank.
You bring the dream, we have the games. The Kansas Lottery Powerball. Dream bigger. Please play responsibly.
Wednesday's Powerball jackpot is $119 million.
Stretch.
Your tax refund at the Sleep Shop and Furniture Gallery's tax back clearance. Bonded leather sofas in 3 colors, only $321. Ultra plush dual reclining sofas, $641. Massive 2-tone queen 4 poster bed with underbed storage, now $561. Plus great buys on youth beds and casual dining too. Queen mattress sets start at $181. Queen memory foam mattress with adjustable base, now only $891. Stretch. Your refund farther at Sleep Shop and Furniture Gallery's tax back clearance. Going on now. 11 North Main, downtown Hutchinson.
You know Hog Wild does great barbecue, but here's Bob Wilson, general manager of Hog Wild in Hutchinson, to tell you about Ranch House salads.
Our Ranch House salads make a refreshing meal. Salad greens served in a fresh-made tortilla bowl, topped with cherry tomatoes, cheddar cheese, and bacon bits. Then add your favorite Hog Wild meat to create a delicious, satisfying meal.
Who says salads have to be boring? Stop by Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 24th and Main in Hutchinson. 5 locations in Wichita, also in El Dorado and Salina.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
7:39 at My 93.1. It's Casey Osmond, Darren Dunn doing the Bob Walker tribute, and I've got one of Bob's great friends and co-workers from the past, Craig Hubbard. You may know him over the years. He's one of my radio idols. I'll be honest with you, Manny Kalzinski. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you guys doing?
We're doing good. Thanks for taking time out of your day, Craig, to talk to us. I know you got a busy day planned, but we know you knew Bob very well, and tell us if you have any good Bob stories or anything. I know you and Bob hung out quite a bit in social aspects.
Yeah. He, I've got so many Bob stories. It's a lot like Dan said. He was an original. There was never one day that was the same with Bob. I think that's a lot of the reasons that some of us get into radio is because it's one of those jobs you're fortunate enough. It's a different day every day. It's not the same status quo kind of thing. And he lived, he definitely lived that life. He would be, he was always jovial. He was always, he always had a weird sense of humor to him that made us all laugh. He actually worked afternoons at, the old Kissin', and I did afternoons at KKRE at the same time, so we would always tease each other, about who was going to get better ratings that day, and just little jokes here and there about that. But some of the funny stories I have of him is, working in the radio business, I'm sure listeners even get to a point when they get, kind of overkill with certain songs that are on the air or something like that. He would, right before the mic would open up, he'd have his headphones on. He'd think, "Oh, not this song, this song's driving me crazy." Well, that's a great toe tapping song. Well, every minute of that, just he would do that constantly and just automatically have you laughing. He would always come up and visit me at the Wichita Thunder hockey games. He had a knack of getting there late all the time and leaving early, but he would do the music at the Wichita Thunder games, so he'd always come up and he would give me his little play-by-play and analysis of the game, and I'm definitely going to miss that. And when they built Intrust Bank Arena, that was one of his biggest complaints, because he couldn't just walk right up into the booth and hang out with me. He's like, "This new arena's like Fort Knox. I can't even get up there to see you anymore." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." But there's some of the other funny Bob stories was he didn't just affect people in South Central Kansas. Dan Holliday and Bob and myself, we had a friend that was a general manager of a radio station Dan was real good friends with in Ponca City, Oklahoma. And we would all just take a bunch of my CDs down there on the weekends, on Saturday nights, and we would do a show, all three of us down there. And we did it a few different times. And, northern Oklahoma got a little experience at Grandma Grits and Modine and all the other characters as well. It was, if you guys are ever able to find audio of that, it's definitely worth listening to as well. But he, I don't know, he was a lot... he was a lot like he was on the radio in real life, just, always entertaining, always made you laugh. I don't recall him ever being in a bad mood. He was always, even if something was bothering him, he'd kind of just joke about it. He's like, "Oh, I'm not feeling so good. This isn't fun." But he would kind of joke about it, and it just, he's definitely going to be missed. He, just some of his, I don't know, there's no one with a sense of humor like that. And like you guys were talking about earlier with, the theater of the mind, radio's changed a lot over the years. A lot now. It's just like, that was this artist and here's this artist. He made it sound a lot different by actually giving you the element. The thought that there were multiple people in that studio, multiple people doing things. It was really just him making all the magic, which definitely is going to be missed. I mean, like you said earlier, in the past year we've lost Tim Peters and now Bob, and the South Central Kansas has, lost a couple greats in the past year.
Yeah, and you were mentioning how he was never grumpy, never in a bad mood. That is exactly right. He's the only guy I think I've ever met in this business. Every day, the guy was in a good mood. He was never grumpy.
No, never.
I mean, it's not that he didn't complain. And I'll tell you a real quick funny story. You were talking about how a song he was sick of playing, and then he would get on the mic and be like, "Oh, what a great tune!" I got the I got the perfect example of that. He did that here, and the song that he did it with was "Use Somebody" by Kings of Leon. I mean, he hated that song, and every time it played, "Oh, I'm so sick of Kings of Leon." And of course, when he went on the mic, "Oh, what a great song!" He couldn't stand that song.
Yeah, another story. He was one of his things that maybe he was so honest to a fault sometimes, but it was really funny. One time, Dan Holliday and Bob and a girl I was dating at the time, and we all went to the Kansas State Fair, because their station at the time, the country station, sponsored Winona, the country singer, that night. And we were backstage talking to her, and all of a sudden Bob's like, "Do you steal your music from Robert Cray?" And she's like, "Excuse me?" He's like, "Well, a lot of your guitar riffs sound a lot like Robert Cray, the blues singer." And I've always wanted to ask you that. She just looked at him because she's like, "No, I don't think so." It was just the funniest thing. He was a great guy. Definitely going to be missed.
Yeah, you'd have to worry about him around people, big celebrities, because you don't know what he's going to say, what he's going to ask. Because he will ask what he's thinking. There's no filter there, but what a guy.
Yeah, and his, over the past few years, he always says, like, "How did you get such a good-looking wife?" He's like, "Your wife's way better looking than you. How'd you do that?" I'm like, I guess I'm lucky. I don't know, but yeah, that was always one of his lines every single time I would talk to him. But yeah, and I luckily, been able to keep in touch with him through the years and go see him, like, a couple months ago. Thank goodness I was able to come up and see you guys at the radio station on my day off down here in Wichita. I'm definitely going to cherish that, being able to spend, at least a few minutes with him on that day. But I had no idea that was going to be the last time I was able to see him, though.
Yeah, it's sad. We're all going to miss him. It's hard to believe that he's not going to walk back through that door again.
Yeah.
We hoped he would be back, but knowing now that he's not for sure is really kind of a shock to everybody. But we're going to cherish the memories and remember, the things he's done. And we've got so much classic stuff that's been recorded over the years that will live forever.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, he's one of those guys that, like Dan said, he's one of those guys that a lot of people in the area grew up listening to, and a lot of people in radio. He's the reason that they're in radio, and for some of us that worked with him, he's the reason that we're still in radio, knowing that you can still have fun every day, and not every day is the same. And yeah, he was a gem for sure.
I got one piece of audio I want to play. This is probably the shortest audio clip I have. I want you to hear this, Craig, because it's a great one-liner. Bob and Terry Show, December 1985. Here it comes.
And heard a good one at a local establishment over the weekend. You might like this one.
What's that?
How do you sell a duck to a deaf person?
I don't know.
Want to buy a duck?
There you go.
Oh, nice.
That's great. All right. Well, Craig, I appreciate you talking to us, man.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good day, and thanks for doing this, guys. I know that he's definitely looking down and probably laughing himself right now. So.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a great day.
Thanks.
I will see you. 747 and My 93.1. You got to love that. And, again, one of those just one-liners Bob comes up with,
Well, we talked about that earlier. We were talking about how we weren't sure, or they weren't sure when they were doing the show with Terry Michaels what they were going to say until they said it.
Right.
And we mentioned how Bob was like he was on the air as he was in real life. I don't think he knew what he was going to say until he said it, and it just kind of came out. And more often than not, it may not have been appropriate, but it was funny.
I think you're exactly right. Tiffany, step on in here. Tiffany Ramsey, one of our account executives. You and Bob were really close friends for over 10 years.
Yep.
You guys did the Pratt Poolside Party together for a number of years. And so you saw Bob in some interesting moments.
Yes. I can remember when I first started working with Bob and I first met him, and I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really sure about, can I take this guy out in public with me? If I'm having a remote or if I'm out there at an event, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if the elevator's all the way to the top. But then but you know what? But yes, I did connect with Bob. I got him. I mean, I understood him. And so I remember taking him to the Pratt Pool Party many times. And that was probably back in what, Casey? Would that have been the...
Would have been 2003, 4, 2005.
Yeah. For about 4 years in a row, we'd go out to the Pratt Pool Party, and first time I took him out there, he comes out, and it was like over 100 degrees, and he comes out in his tennis shoes and his socks and his long pants, and I'm looking at him, I go, Bob, you're going to get hot. And he goes, yeah, I know, man, I know. And I go, So the next time he showed up, I had him some flip-flops, and he had on his shorts. And by the end of the pool parties, he was going down the slide. They had a slide there at the Pratt Pool, and that was a sight to see. That was a sight to see. And he would also do cannonballs off the side of the pool, and the kids loved him. I mean, Bob just had a way of connecting, and I agree with the last, was that Craig?
Yeah.
I agree with Craig. I mean, Bob just had a way of, he just could make you laugh. Whether you liked him or loved him, he made you laugh. And or didn't like him, but you just couldn't not love Bob. And he was what he was. He was real, and that's what I appreciated most about Bob. And I remember when I left the station the last time, I'd get random phone calls from him. Hey, man, when you coming back? When you coming back? And, so I know he was excited, and I was excited to work with him again. And so I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to spend at least probably the last month with him before he checked out and was in the hospital and taking care of what he needed to. So I will miss him, definitely. Yeah, very, very much so. Yeah. He was a rare... one of a kind.
Yes, he was indeed. He would never see things, and I'm not the first person to say this morning, but he would never see things the way everybody else saw him. He'd always have a unique view, and always more of a humorous view on anything. I don't care what it is. The most serious topic in the world, the dude could find a funny angle. And that, what you heard on the air, is what we heard off the air. Right?
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, he was the same. He didn't change into his radio voice or his personality. He was Bob 24/7.
Yeah, for those of you who follow him on Facebook or a friend of his on Facebook, on his Bob Walker Facebook page, that picture, that profile picture of his with the hat, the red face. Okay, so we came back from the Pratt Pool party, and he comes in, hey, man, that was so much fun, Tiffany, let's do it again. And I snapped that picture of it. I said, Bob, have you looked at your face? You are bright red, buddy. You are flaming red. And he goes, I know, but it was funny. My sunburned? And I said, yes, you are sunburned. And he always wore that hat. So that hat and that picture and that profile picture, I think he left that up. Gosh, I think that's been there for, 8 years?
Yeah, it's been there forever.
Yeah. So that was one day when we came back from the Pratt Pool party. And so I will definitely miss Bob.
We'll miss him around here. Yep. He, what can you say?
Yeah, there's lots of jokes about him. There's lots of one-liners that he had, but Bob was a person, and I'll miss him.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a news break and get back into it here. Another hour, though. A lot more audio clips from Bob Walker. We're going to talk to a couple of more friends and co-workers of Bob and just kind of reminisce about a great man and a great broadcaster we lost here at My 93.1. Let's get you a news update. This time around brought to you by Fee Insurance Group at Suite 700 of the First National Center and on the web at feeinsurance.com.
Good morning. A plea hearing for a 35-year-old parolee jailed after drugs were found in a search of his residence is scheduled for Monday, but it was pushed back till tomorrow. As it stands now, Bruce Alexander Jr. charged with possession of meth with intent to distribute, possession of drug paraphernalia with intent to distribute, and criminal possession of a firearm. Alexander remains jailed in the Reno County Detention Center on an $18,000 bond. Kansas lawmakers say Wichita could face legal action from the state attorney general if it does not remove the proposal to lessen marijuana penalties from its city elections ballot. Attorney General's office released the opinion Friday saying that the proposal conflicts with state marijuana laws and the move would be considered void even if it were to pass. The Illinois Supreme Court scheduled to hear arguments today over a massive state employees' pension bailout that a lower court tossed last fall. The case is being cast as one of the most critical financial issues to face Illinois and its government in a half a century. The issue is whether benefit cuts to current state employees violate state constitutional protection. In sports, Nathan Henry has resigned as the Hutchinson High School boys basketball coach. Henry's team was 4-17 this past season and lost in the first round of the 6A sub-state playoffs. HCC softball team winners yesterday over Cloud County 4-2 and 12-4. HCC baseball team defeated Northern Oklahoma College 18-7. Kansas City Chiefs are said to be in the works on releasing Dwayne Bowe. The often troubled wide receiver has not produced despite getting a big contract just a few years ago. And the Kansas City Royals lost for the first time in the preseason. They dropped a game to the White Sox 6-2. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 332 points in yesterday's trading. It will start the day at 17,662. For more news, weather, and sports, go to hutchpost.com. Your forecast is next from the Eagle Media Center. I'm Rod Zook.
At Fee Insurance, we try to listen first and ask a lot of questions to find out what the real needs and desires of the client are. We have a good atmosphere, a team atmosphere, and a lot of people that want to work together for the good of the client.
We here at Fee Insurance, we understand people have questions about insurance. You're going to be able to call. You're not calling a 1-800 number. You're calling someone that's a real person that's going to talk you through things and give them an answer that they're going to be satisfied with.
Fee Insurance Group, standing between you and risk since 1883.
I love my house. You know why? Because we have nerd-level Wi-Fi, all right? We have the kind of Wi-Fi that would let you, game online while you actually download the movie version of the game you are currently playing right at that moment. The kind of Wi-Fi that a programmer would write binary poems about 0010011. When you have nerd-level Wi-Fi, there is so much you can do online all at once. It's overwhelming. It's look, no wonder people go and start companies in their garages and learn in-depth facts about bonobos and medieval hat structures. I mean, those nerds have this kind of level Wi-Fi, and those nerds know if you're not getting the fastest Wi-Fi, you're not getting the most out of your internet. It's don't even ask. It's ridiculous. Just stop.
Trust the nerds. Get access to the fastest in-home Wi-Fi from Cox with high-speed internet as low as $19.99 a month for 12 months, and ask how to get a $200 prepaid card. Includes residential internet preferred package when newly purchased with Advanced TV or higher by $331.15. Total rate varies with Advanced TV package. Rate increases by $20 a month for year 2. 2-year agreement required. Install equipment, taxes, and other fees extra. Prepaid card offer available with select 3 product bundles. Other restrictions apply.
This is Phil with Mel Hamilton Ford. I want to take your worry out of buying a used vehicle. Let me tell you about our certified pre-owned vehicle program. These vehicles go through a 170-point inspection, come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, roadside assistance, and much, much more. You'll have peace of mind if something goes wrong, you are covered. We have special interest rates, terms, and payments to fit your wants, needs, and most importantly, your budget. There isn't a better place to buy your next certified pre-owned vehicle. Check us out online at mhford.com and come let me show you why we say we're better, we're proving it. You be the judge.
Hi, I'm Cammie Maxwell from Odin, Kansas, and I'm a sophomore at Barton Community College. Financial assistance is vital to my education goals, and I encourage you to support the Barton Foundation by your donation to the annual 2015 Academic Enrichment Campaign.
Changing lives one gift at a time. The Barton Foundation's 2015 Academic Enrichment Fund campaign is now underway. If you haven't received your donation form in the mail, contact the Foundation office at 620-786-1136.
One of the greatest things about gardening is that you'll literally reap what you sow. Whatever you put into your garden, you'll most certainly get 5-fold, 20-fold or more. Like Ben Miller here for Stisman's Greenhouse. Yes, it's that time of year to sow and grow seed potatoes, onion sets, and get your bulk and prepackaged seeds. You'll love the sowing reaping principle, so get ready to plant and enjoy great tasting healthy food later. And while you're at the greenhouse, come see the really cool gifts for spring in our newly remodeled gift gallery.
Stisman's Greenhouse, everything's green but us.
See more at Stismans.com and on Facebook.
7:57 at My 93.3. It's Casey Osborne, Darren Dunn doing the Bob Walker tribute show here. Good morning. And I've got on the phone one of Bob's longtime associates. This is probably one of Bob's oldest friends, I guess. You guys go way back. It's Brent Bradley. Hey,
Thank you.
How you doing?
Good. Don't know how I like the word oldest, but yeah.
Poor choice on my part.
I worked with Bob, when I started in radio, which I'm not in radio anymore, haven't been for a long time, but when I started at about 17 years old is when I started working with Bob back on 102.1, long before it was even kissing.
So this was like the early to mid-'80s we're talking about, right?
Yeah, around 1983.
Okay, some of these bits we're playing, I think that's the era that these bits are from, too. What was your radio name?
I went by my own name. I went by Brent Bradley back then. Okay. I was setting the trend.
That's right, you were. So you know the old Bob, the one that was relatively young. Did he change much over the years? I mean, Bob you've heard us talk about how he was carefree and saw humor in everything. I'm guessing he's always been like that. Is that right?
Bob was always like that. Just always positive, and like Dan and Manny said earlier, he was just bigger than life sometimes, but he was always the same. You never knew when a character was going to come out, when Modine or Grandma or somebody was just going to pop out and start talking to you, and sometimes it would happen in a restaurant or wherever you were in public. Like when Dan said that he heard this voice yelling "we" at Joyland, that was Bob. It wasn't trying to get attention. That was just Bob having fun with life.
Right.
And the thing that I remember most about him is I was a wet behind the ears 17-year-old kid, first time on the radio, and Bob never once looked down. He was always somebody who would help, and if you made a mistake or something, he would make a joke about it. He was just a fantastic person, a fantastic teacher, and somebody who taught you how to, enjoy life no matter what.
Yeah, he was I don't know what type personality that is. It's not type A. There's like letters, but he was the kind that had fun and enjoyed life at all costs.
Definitely was. I was telling my wife the other night, I saw him mad one time in all the years that I knew him. I saw him angry one time, and it was because of an incident that happened at a dance he was doing for a high school, and it happened to be at my high school, and I was at the dance. In fact, I think Tiffany was there too when you were talking to her earlier.
Right.
And I don't know if he ever did another dance at that high school again.
I'm going to play a classic bit here from Bob he's talking with Terry on the old 102 station, talking about a TV show with Michael J. Fox. And if I can push the right button here. And also he's talking about how he thinks people perceive DJs to be. It's a little bit of insight into Bob's mind. This is from, I believe, 1985, so here it comes.
Well, I didn't get to see Michael J. Fox. I dozed off.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Now, I'd like to hear what did he say? Did he say anything earth-shaking that we could pass along to our vast South Central Kansas office?
He doesn't mind being short. He did say that.
You know, they expect Michael J. Fox to be the same character he is on the show, and he's not. You know, he's acting, gang. And he goes home, he keeps to himself, has one girlfriend, doesn't have people clamoring at his door, lives in a modest house. Mm-hmm. And sort of like people in radio, they expect us to have what? Women coming out of our ears? Offers coming down the phone every day? Mm-hmm. It's not like that.
No, not at all.
We have an Army cot over at the Union Mission, a bug light that goes on and off, little rats that chew at our toes.
Man,
but from 6 to 10, we sound like we're great.
On this show?
On this show? Maybe one day we will.
There you go. Good stuff.
Yes, and the thing is, Bob wasn't an actor. That's
right.
Bob was Bob. Sometimes you might even want to be embarrassed, but you just couldn't be because you love the guy so much.
Yeah, you know, I think all the good ones are like that. They really are themselves on the air. They don't turn on the switch into this personality. They're just who they are, and they're like that 24 hours a day. I think everybody pretty much agrees on that, and Bob was certainly like that.
Yes, he was. He also had incredible timing for coming in. I don't know if he still did this in later years, but when he would be coming in to do his show, there would be times I would have his next song up because I would work the overnight shift, and he would come in at 6 a.m.
Right.
And I would have his next song up, his commercials pulled, everything ready, and sometimes he wouldn't be there, and it's coming down the end, and he would come running in the door, drop everything, sit in his seat, and I'd already have the mic turned on. He'd pot it up and start talking. He would just have timing to get to work just on time.
So he was just on time. Well, I can attest that has not changed at all.
It did not change.
Whether it would be, coming back from lunch or whatever, he took every second he could, and he would come back when he had to be there.
Yep, and you never asked what he was doing because it didn't matter. He was having fun.
Well, you knew he was having fun, absolutely.
Yep.
All right, Brent, I appreciate you talking to us, man.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. 803 and My 93.1. Yeah, Darren, the good ones are themselves all the time. Let's play another one here. I got so many audio clips here. You want to do we did a Modine. Let's do a tie score bid. What do you think?
I think that is fantabulous.
Are you familiar with tie score?
No, these characters are all new to me, so I'm enjoying myself. I'm content to kind of sit back and just listen. This is interesting.
I'll tell you about tie score a little bit. When Bob started on My 93.1, July of 2004, he told me the character that he was most reluctant to do on the air was tie score. He didn't think people would. He thought it would offend people. I'm like, just do it. I mean, it worked. 20 years ago, just do it. So at the risk of offending somebody, here's tie score.
Another one bites the dust. Queen 7:40, 20 before 8 o'clock. Boy, Queen's really come a long way since that song.
Well, they're really tearing them up, aren't they?
Yeah. We did have a request for that. That sounded good to hear after not hearing it for a couple of years. And there's one thing about those type of records you get. Oh, Ty, good grief.
Why the green makeup? Why the green?
Do you like my green leaves? I'm the Jolly Green Giant.
That's what I figured.
Would you like to see my niblets?
Only if it's in heavy sauce.
Ooh, Terry got a finger in. Ty, you're disgusting. Thank you.
I don't even want to look at the guy.
If I ever get in line anywhere, they just let me right up front.
I bet you like that up there, don't you?
Yes, but it's not happy being the Jolly Green Giant all the time, especially with this drought we're having.
What do you mean?
It's so dry I have to save up a month to spit.
I got sad set for the Jolly Green Giant.
Good, I'm glad. Why don't you see your way out?
Ho, ho, ho. It's a happy birthday to Jean Rose.
That's a good ad-lib, Ty.
Yes. Jody.
Doesn't he make you sick, Bob?
I'm gonna be sick. I just can't stand this guy. Ooh, don't like my leave.
Go with the names. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Jody Heim of McPherson. Todd Henderson.
Makes me sick.
Todd Henderson has developed the horse-drawn golf cart.
Oh, he has?
Yes. Amy Raleigh of Marion. Happy birthday.
How's it work?
Very difficultly. April Winslick of Pratt, happy birthday. Mark Jones of Pratt. Chris Oberly, happy birthday. Also, Michaela Lutz and Tasha Bishop.
Did somebody give you the new key to the change locks? How'd you get in here?
I came in through a duct.
Figures you wiggle your way around.
Christy Allen turned 16 years old today.
Okay.
Why don't you just say Christy Allen? Okay, Christy Allen. Don't be harsh, Mr. Walker.
Get out of here.
You might upset me. That blood pressure could go up, 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 up.
Linda Blair is 27 years old today. And we also have George Foreman, the ex-boxer, is 38. And that's our famous people with the names you just read there, Ty. So why don't you stay over there and Bob and I'll stay over here and we'll do the song here.
Well, you don't want me to sit in your lappy wappy?
Get away from me.
Ooh, those are nice beads you have on there.
Those aren't beads. Those are cords off my
You do
pants.
have a problem.
There you go. Tie score. Bob Walker. What do you think?
Definitely a blast from the past. That's an interesting character. I'm surprised Terry put up with all this stuff that Bob would throw his way.
Terry was a great sport, and he still is. Back in the day with all these guys, Uncle Fester and Modine. You had to be a good sport, but I don't know how he kept from laughing, honestly. I mean, how did he keep from laughing some of this stuff?
Yeah, you just have to be good at what you do, and he was.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to talk to Jerry Schmidt here, one of Bob's closest friends, here in a couple of minutes. We got to do a break. Let's do that now. Talk to Jerry next on My 93.1.
Not sure what your college path might be? How about Hutchinson Community College? HCC is cost-effective and offers a variety of scholarship opportunities and financial aid programs. And will work with you to make your dream of a higher education something that won't empty your pockets. Hutchinson Community College has over 75 degrees and the convenience of more than 200 online courses. This month, HCC is featuring public safety programs. To learn more, call 1-888-GO-HUTCH or online at hutchcc.edu.
It's time for those tax refunds, and Your Wireless World has a device you've been saving for. Hi, this is Jake Martin at Your Wireless World. Have a refund coming? Come get the amazing Samsung Galaxy S5 that is not only fast, but has an amazing 16-megapixel camera. Or how about the very cool Samsung Note 3? iPhone 5, LGs, Motorola's, we have a large selection of 4G LTE phones to fit your budget. All backed by America's best network. Your Wireless World, First Main McPherson, and in Hutchinson Mall.
Advertising is an important part of everyone's business. You have lots of choices: radio, newspaper, billboards, direct mail, and they all work. But there is another way to advertise, a way to put your name in your customers' hands most every day. With promotional products, or giveaways as some call them, you can give items for name awareness, a gift, or as a thank you for your business. For ideas that fit your business, stop by Advertising Specialties and Design, 608 North Main in downtown Hutchinson.
Hi folks, Wes Thomas, Midwest Toyota in Hutchinson. You know, buying a car doesn't have to be madness. Here at Midwest Toyota, we have the best selection of vehicles and a staff that puts you first. We are your number one choice for buying a new car or truck. You can shop us first or shop us last, but no one will save you more money and treat you better than Midwest Toyota. Remember, better people, better prices, equal better deals. Come see us, 1100 East 30th, or online at MidwestSuperstore.com.
These new spicy Super Crunch chicken strips from Sonic are delicious.
Yeah, they really bring the heat. Speaking of which, can we turn down the heat? It's like a sauna in here.
Yeah, it is a sauna. I turned your car into a day spa.
You did what?
Hello, welcome.
Thanks. Could I get a towel? No, get out of my car.
Well, there's a customer we're never getting back.
I just want to enjoy my spicy chicken strips in peace.
Excellent. I'll grab the aromatherapy kit for you.
Make your day with new Spicy Super Crunch Chicken Strips. This is how you Sonic. For a limited time, only participating Sonic drive-ins. Call Star Sonic for specials. Not all carriers covered. Message and data rates apply.
It's 8:10 at My Daddy 3-1. It's Casey Osborne, Darren Dunn doing the Bob Walker Tribute Show. We're joined now by Jerry Schmidt. Jerry, not a radio guy, right? But you ought to be. I'll tell you that.
Well, it's, I'm kind of a hanger-on. Like if I had a dryer sheet, I'd be in trouble.
Yeah, you've won so many prizes. I recognize your voice from your phone calls saying, "Yeah, what'd I win?" So that's how much you called in. But you and Bob were close. You say you've known Bob since the early days of probably the mid '80s.
Mid-'80s, and he survived me leaving town. I don't know how, but he did. When I came back, it was like, he's over in Wichita. I have to give him a holler.
And you guys were really good friends.
We were.
Down the stretch, probably you were probably, if we had to pick one person, you were probably his best friend.
Either that or I'm the guy I couldn't shake. He couldn't shake, or I couldn't shake. But yeah, we hung out a lot.
Right.
Football season, he'd come over to the house, watch games. We'd make sure he got home. He was very passionate about his football.
And who was his favorite football team?
Well, of course, the Chiefs or anybody else who was playing.
Yeah, I do remember him talking about the Chiefs. He always asked me about K-State all the time, too. K-State going to win this weekend?
He was... If it was football, he was in. His life ended after the Super Bowl. He's like, basketball. What do I watch on basketball? He says, guys running up and down. He says, I can go down to the local school and watch them play on Saturdays.
I played this bit already, but the first bit we played this morning, I don't know if you heard it, it was at 7:05, was a bit from Bob and Terry talking about the KU game from the night before. And they were bantering back and forth, and Terry was saying how impressive Oklahoma looked, and Bob was like, "Oh yeah, so and so, he looked good." And Bob confessed to me, because I played that bit for him not too long ago. He never even watched the game. But
he had a title. I think it was Captain BS.
Oh yeah.
Because you never knew if he'd actually seen something or not. But he had an opinion, and he would let you know.
Yeah, he did. He did have an opinion. So you guys are really close. Hung out quite a bit. Social time, and he entrusted you.
I know, he's foolish, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was foolish. What was he thinking? And you guys are actually a lot alike.
Thank you, or not. No.
That's a compliment.
That is a compliment.
But you guys do have a lot in common. You're both kind of quirky, and I can see how you guys would hit it off so well, and why he would be such good friends. Let's play another bit here. Let's do so much to choose from. Have we done? Let's do an Uncle Fester bit.
Sounds good.
And I'm going to give you some background here. This one, so I have this all organized. It may not sound like it, but I really do. This one, okay, yeah, it's Uncle Fester. Okay. Here we go. This is from, I believe, 1985. Uncle Fester, Bob Walker.
Morning. Simple Minds, live and kicking. Boy, me and Terry go into a frenzy every time we hear that drum solo in there. What we do is, whenever we hear it, we go, 643, drive on in and park anywhere. That's the stupidest thing I've ever done.
Mostly sunny today, high 43. A little bit better than it was yesterday, even though it was sunny yesterday. Not near as windy today. 22, a good day to go out and stock the pop machine.
Yeah, Fester, you got to do that today.
You're going to probably be pretty busy. I bet the wind was just terrible for you yesterday. Wasn't that terrible?
It almost unscrewed the tops off the bottles. It was so strong.
Well, don't you go ahead and pull the sides down on the truck so it doesn't get so windy in there?
How'd you know that? You know all the ramifications of my job.
That's not, it's ramifications.
That's ramifications.
Yeah.
Yeah, ramifications.
That's a little bit better. Well, you're probably pretty busy. You probably go in all the stores, particularly convenience stores, and stock the shelves there.
And I observe things in them places. I observe a lot of stuff.
Like what?
Like the prices are outrageous.
Yeah, they are a little bit high.
And I know why.
Why?
Well, the convenience stores spend $50,000 on electronic devices to protect $4 worth of Twinkies.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Exposito, new owner of Alexander.
There's some Uncle Fester for you from the old days there, Jerry. What do you think?
Well, he definitely did love his Twinkies.
Did he really?
He really did.
He was a Twinkie guy, huh?
Well, now, I wouldn't be able to say that if he were here.
I could totally see that.
Diet Pepsi and...
he drank something in here, and every day I would come in, there would be a styrofoam cup, the same cup, mind you, every day.
He was very
of liquid, and I don't know what was in it. And I don't want to know.
Theoretically, I was told it was Diet Pepsi.
I don't think so. It was too light colored.
Was there anything else in there?
It was light colored. It would look like apple juice. No.
Oh, that was the other cup.
It did. It was probably tea. It really is what it was.
We'll go with that, sure.
But it was the same cup every day, and every day I would come in, and sometimes he would forget to take it out when he left at 10 o'clock. So I'd, grab it like I'm grabbing a cigarette,
pair of tongs, rubber gloves.
Yeah, I'm gonna get this out of here. But yeah, Bob had his ways there.
Now, you didn't throw the cup away and then find it magically back here the next day, did you?
No, I never threw it away. I knew he would need it the next day. Obviously, he had a shortage of cups, so, we had to keep using the same one. Let's do another one here. Here, I got one for you. This is a bit from January of 86. This is, now Bob, one thing about Bob, he was always concerned about the way the radio station sounded, and I'm talking about from an engineering standpoint.
Definitely.
Oh, you know this too, huh?
Shorty Circuits was his life.
Oh yeah, Shorty Circuit. I don't have any Shorty Circuits bits, unfortunately, but
he probably deleted them.
Well,
it was an engineering accident.
Maybe, but he would, if the station sounded the least bit different, there's different things like compression and limiting and all these technical terms that make the station sound a certain way.
He always told me he had to keep the string tight between here and the tower.
And the thermocrockle or whatever it was.
Thermocrockle.
Yeah, it had to be turned up. Well, he was always concerned. He's like, that engineer out there messing with things again. Kind of like that. But anyway, this bit, another bit with Terry Michaels, and they're talking about the weather, and then he just spontaneously goes into this. They work on the station again. I'll let him do it. Here it is.
Listen to the rain. Listen.
I think that's freezing stuff.
No, listen. Hear it?
No, I think that's our realistic machine back here.
Oh, it's rewinding a tape. Hey, Randy, did I hear you say today that we're in a winter storm watch?
Yeah.
Tonight? And tomorrow too?
Tonight. Mm-hmm.
They say any accumulations of snow?
They don't say accumulations, but a good chance. Let's see, 30% chance of showers turning to freezing rain at 60% tonight.
Golly.
Sleet possibly heavy at times. 60% chance of freezing rain or snow tomorrow. Possibly heavy at times. What does weight have to do with the weather? I don't know. Right now we have 32. There's something coming down.
Yeah, there's a little bit of rain. Because it was raining on the way to work today.
Yeah.
A little bit of a mist. So more cold weather. What are they saying for later on in the week?
They're talking like
turning very cold by the end of the week with a chance of snow Thursday. Oh.
Is that right?
Lows 0 to 15 below.
Is that all?
Are you serious?
Did Krager work on us last night?
Yeah.
Sounds different.
He's out there right now, in fact.
That's our...
it sounds good. Oh, coming over real good right now.
That's our engineer, if you're wondering who that is.
Sometimes on Sunday night, if we go off there, that's because something busted. And they have to go out there and get one of those ball-peen hammers.
Yeah, but we always have to fight them to keep us on the air so they don't work when we're on.
607.
Always concerned about the way the station sounded.
First and foremost, he was definitely a professional.
Yeah, well, he was, but I'll tell you, he flew by the seat of his pants, and like I've said, he had no filter, but that was his positive, and that was good. That was a good thing about him, is for a morning man, that's what you want.
I would say he definitely had no filter. I mean, it was exactly fly by the seat of his pants. Remember driving somewhere with him, and he's sitting in the passenger seat, and windows are down, and he looks over, and I can't even remember what he said, but it was just so out there. The people in the other vehicle look over at us like, what did he just say? Thank goodness the light changed and saved me.
Thank goodness. Two of his favorite words to use were, "That's so arcane," although I know he didn't know what that word means, and insipid.
Insipid.
The weather is so insipid. You ever hear that, Darren? So insipid. The word has no meaning, as far as I know.
Yeah, I heard. That's the funny thing about hearing some of his bits that we've listened to this morning, is the fact that he really did know some hard words, but he did a nice job of using those personalities to make them sound like made-up words. So that's what was funny about it.
Insipid, arcane. There was another one. He had a whole vocabulary of words that really had no meaning, but he sounded really intelligent when he said it.
Well, now, I don't know that Georgia State gives out degrees, but he had a bachelor's from there.
Did he really?
I'm like, yeah, that's what I thought. Did he really? And what exactly is blunderbussing? Because that's what it's in. So
I haven't heard that one.
But no, I'm like, he's very intelligent. And once you get him on the right track, he could help solve problems.
You know what? You have to be to do what he did. He thought of things differently. He approached things from a completely different angle, and other people, myself included, sometimes were like, Bob, can you not understand this? And he's like, yeah, man, I think I get it. He didn't get it at all because he was looking at it from his angle, which wasn't wrong. It was just different.
Just a different angle.
Yeah.
And he definitely was a horse of a different color.
That's a good way to put it. Let's do one more bit here before we head into a news update here. Let's find one that's... let's do... this is... I apologize that I'm not as organized as I should be on this.
When you're juggling all those carts there. Oh, wait, that's
carts?
That's old tech. Sorry.
Okay, I have this one labeled ad-libbing at its best. So apparently he ad-libs pretty good in this bit here, okay?
Sounds good.
Apparently when I heard this, I thought, so here it is.
Was it windy yesterday?
Oh, good grief.
That was terrible.
I was walking down the street with my girlfriend, and the wind blew the hair in my face. The wind blew her hair the other way, then the wind blew her hair in the street. Oh, it was terrible.
Why are they clapping? That's not that funny.
Well, it was ad-libbed, I guess. I guess when we ad-lib, we're not funny.
Well, anytime that we ad-lib at this time, we're okay.
I had an unusual dream. You remember the guy that played Grandma got run over by a reindeer all day and got suspended?
The DJ?
DJ somewhere out west.
I remember that.
I dreamt that I played Cinnamon. Remember that song by Derek?
Oh, yeah.
I played Cinnamon all day to protest high sugar prices. Let me in, Cinnamon. All right.
Well, what'd you have for supper? Now that'll explain your dream.
I had a beef enchilada.
See what I mean?
Yes.
Burroughs, All-American.
That's good stuff right there.
Wow. I'm sitting there going, gosh. I was thinking, I'm thinking, he's a little off. I remember that song.
I have no idea what cinnamon is. No clue.
Well,
that was 1985, so I was 12. Darren, you were what, 2, 3?
I was not born yet. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, let's get into a news update, and we'll talk more with Jerry and hear some more Bob Walker bits here in a couple of minutes. 8:22 right now at My 93.1.
Morning, a local woman scheduled to be in court Wednesday where she may enter a plea on a charge of indecent liberties with a child. Samantha Otterbein is accused of inappropriate contact with a 15-year-old girl back in July of 2014. The crime could see her get more than 11 years in prison. Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt has filed a federal lawsuit to block plans by the Quapaw tribe in northeast Oklahoma to expand a casino across the state line. Lawsuit filed by Schmidt challenges a decision in November by the National Indian Gaming Commission to clear the way for casino games on 124 acres of land in Cherokee County in southeast Kansas. Schmidt contends the commission exceeded its legal authority. A remote swath of beach between Pensacola and Destin, Florida, is the scene of a search today for 7 Marines and 4 soldiers missing after an Army helicopter crashed during a night training exercise. Elgin Air Force Base officials say the helicopter was reported missing around 8:30 p.m. Tuesday, and a search and rescue crews found debris earlier this morning. In sports, Hutchinson High School basketball coach Nate Henry has resigned. Henry's Salt Hawks were just 4-17 on the season. HCC softball team takes a pair of games from Cloud County, 4-2 and 12-4. HCC baseball team defeats Northern Oklahoma College 18-7. Kansas City Chiefs say they will release wide receiver Dwayne Bowe, according to sources. That release expected to happen today. And the Kansas City Royals lost in exhibition baseball yesterday by a score of 6-2. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average will start the day at 17,662 after losing 332 points in yesterday's trading. For more news, weather, and sports, go to HutchPost.com. Your forecast is next from the Eagle Media Center. I'm Rod Zook.
It's Truck Month at Shep Chevrolet, and we have a wide selection to choose from. We even have a few carryover 2014s with discounts over $10,000 on select models. Now is the time to upgrade and step up to owning the longest-running truck on the road, the Chevy Silverado. Visit Shep Chevrolet in downtown Haven and experience the small-town difference.
Thank you for making Pave the Way your choice for all your pavement needs. They are the pavement professionals specializing in asphalt and concrete paving and repairs, crack sealing and seal coating. They even offer parking lot sweeping, power washing, and ADA-compliant pavement marking and layouts. They are the leader in the pavement industry and have the testimonials to prove it. Just ask. Whether you're paving or overlaying a parking lot or driveway, repairing a broken sidewalk or curbing, or installing a new patio or driveway, you can trust Pave the Way to do the job right at a price that won't break the bank. Call the pavement professionals at Pave the Way today at 316-990-5855 or visit them online at pavethewayusa.com. A trusted local company with an A rating with the Better Business Bureau and a member of the Chamber of Commerce. Pave the Way, 316-990-5855 or online at pavethewayusa.com.
Pave the way, kicking asphalt every day. Pave the way.
Switch to U.S. Cellular for better value than Verizon and AT&T. Get a new plan at prices they don't have, like 8 gigs to share for just $100. Plus, we'll pay off your old contract. That's right, 8 gigs to share for just $100. To get better value than Verizon and AT&T, there's never been a better time to switch. Unless you switch now. Or now. Or right now. Or now. Or even now. Or now. Retail installment contract for 2 lines. Shared Connect plan. $25 activation fees and device protection plus required. ETF payoff up to $350 per line. Other restrictions apply. See store for details.
We're talking with Michelle from Community Finance. Michelle, a lot of people would like to stop running from one payday loan to another, but can't seem to quite get there.
I know, and many of my customers have told me how exhausting it was. Running the financial rat race with those high-interest payday loans constantly nipping at your heels, you feel like you're on a never-ending treadmill running faster and faster, but never getting anywhere.
But Community Finance can help.
Yes, we can. We can help you finally pay off that payday-type loan and put you on manageable monthly payments where there's an end in sight, so you can finally slow down and breathe. If you're ready to find a better way, come see me today at Community Finance inside CB&T at A in Washington. And don't be intimidated to come inside a bank. Look for my office just to the left when you walk through the front door.
Come see Community Finance today, located just inside CB&T at the corner of Avenue A in Washington in downtown Hutchinson.
Our private dining room at Kanaki's Meats and Sweets in McPherson is great for get-togethers. But for those company picnics, wedding receptions, even church luncheons, call Kanaki's Catering, Bakery, and Barbecue in Inman. We take the work out of it so you can relax and enjoy. Need catering? Think Kanaki's.
826 at My 93.1. It's Casey Osborne, Darren Dunn doing the Bob Walker Tribute Show. And I've got Jason Younger here, who really was the guy that brought Bob Walker into Eagle Communications back in, 2003, I think.
Yeah, I remember when the conversation first came up, finding out that Bob Walker had been working in Wichita and was available. And let's just talk to him and let's just see if we can get him to come to Hutch, because that would be a big, big catch for us, as we're, looking forward to getting My 93.1 up and going. It actually started on KHUT in afternoons for a while, and so it was kind of funny, the people that had worked with him in the past, all the disclaimers that came before you talked to Bob. There's a few things I want you to understand about him. He's highly creative, and because he's highly creative, he's a little quirky, and I want you to understand what you get with Bob, okay? And so I thought it was funny that he came with a disclaimer, and we met down in Yoder and had lunch at Carriage Crossing and had a great conversation, and kind of like you hear over and over this morning, yeah, man, I mean, that sounds good. He was just real mellow and easygoing about it. And so was really excited when we got him up here. And, of course, he brought along all the characters and personalities with him. So it took a couple U-Hauls to get all the personalities moved up here with him. And, of course, Fuzz Bucket, and then Fuzz Bucket's little bed and water bowl and everything. So we got Bob up here and came to find out that everything I had heard about him as far as any kind of baggage and stuff that comes along with him really wasn't true. He was so professional every day, and I think it's one thing to work with him shoulder to shoulder in the mornings, because all the behind the scenes stuff is really pretty boring. And you kind of see him over here, and you know that he's over here and he's working, and you see him through the window every morning, and we pop out of the studio doors and you visit, and you just have the regular office chit chat. And he would always come in, hey man, got a big flamethrower of a show going this morning. I saw the lights dim. You must have a massive tune in.
I would hear that all the time.
Yeah, so that was always really funny. And And then when I was away from working with Bob every morning and just listening to him as a listener, morning radios, it's a really difficult thing to do from just the amount of energy it sucks out of you, just the amount of activity. And Bob came from old school radio where every single element you hear, you pushed a button to fire that element. So you pushed a button to fire every song, every commercial, every sound effect, everything. And so, watching the old school Bob on air was kind of like watching somebody play the organ a little bit. Hands are flying everywhere, and he's moving carts and tapes and CDs in and out. So he was really, really talented. But to step away and to listen to him as a listener, I think that was something that was so impactful for me, to see that he came and delivered every single morning. By listening to him, other than if he kind of had a cold and had some phlegm in his chest or something, you really couldn't tell if he was having a good day or a bad day, because listening to him every single day was a good day. And he came and he brought it every single morning. A lot of people, when you get you feel down, or you don't feel well, or you're tired, or you're burnt out, you'll maybe not record every single phone call that comes in. He worked it every single day. And I think the takeaway from that is just having a passion for what you do. Do what you're passionate about, love what you do, and you'll come in and you'll just give your all every single day. So you could definitely tell that he was passionate about his industry and his job. He worked hard at it every single day. And the people inside this building and people that he worked with in the past and his listeners, that was his family, and that's who he loved. My favorite story with Bob is...
Let me guess, it's the phone story under the table?
That's my favorite on-air bit. Yeah.
You got to tell that one.
Well, this had to be, and as an operations manager, it's a nightmare to hear something go wrong on the air. But as a listener, this was just gold. And it was when the mouse for the on-air computer quit working. And so Bob said, my mouse died.
And this is back when he was in a different building.
Yeah,
so there was nobody to help him. He was by himself. We were in a different building, so there was nobody to step outside and say, I need some help.
And so he goes on the air and says, hey, man, anybody know how to change a computer mouse? Give me a call now at 662-9931. And he has somebody on the air trying to talk him through how to unplug the mouse cable. Well, he traced it under the console, and he unplugged it, and he's screaming up from under the console, trying to jam the pins together. And if you remember the old mouse, the pins all had to be lined up right, and they weren't. And so he had bent the pins, and he's trying to just jam it together. And it was a 15-minute train wreck that was just radio gold. It was so funny.
I wish I'd heard that.
That was just the funniest thing and the most terrifying thing to hear all at the same time. And a lot of times Bob would tell me stories about growing up. We would talk a lot of times about his family and his dad and he and his mom and his sister. But his dad was a civil engineer, and his dad always told him, man, go learn a trade. Go find something to do. You don't want to get locked into a boring job like I have. And he certainly did that. And my favorite stories that Bob would tell me were stories of him in school. Now, all the things that you've heard about Bob this morning, picture this. Bob went to a Catholic school. Can you imagine dropping Bob into the middle of a bunch of nuns? It went as good as you could expect.
I can imagine.
His knuckles, if you look at his knuckles,
they're still scarred.
Calloused and scarred from all those swats with the ruler across the hands from those poor nuns beating the tar out of Bob, trying to straighten him up. But that's what was so much fun about him. Great conversations with him. One of my favorite classic radio bits that Bob did was another one of those Bob and Terry bits. And the one that just has me rolling on the floor every time I hear it are the Heine wine commercials. Big Red and Thor, and I think Casey has one of those for us.
Actually have one of those. This is kind of a long one, about 2 minutes, but this is one of those classic Heine Winery bits that you heard back in the 80s.
Oh, we had all those cabbages neatly placed against that wall. Oh, gee whiz. It's Hermione Gingold's birthday. Hermione Gingold is 88 today. Her lack of taste is 22.
Oh, boy!
And didn't Hermione Gingold get a sex change? Was that Hermione? Not Dick Butkus? Okay, same thing. Actor Broderick Crawford, 74. House Speaker Tip O'Neill is 73. His distrust for Reagan is 7. And we have a brand new day here. And oh, what a night it was. Did you go? What a night it was last Friday night at the Heine Winery in beautiful downtown Mount Hope, home of Big Red and Thor Heine. They're responsible for manufacturing Heine wine. If you weren't with us last week, we'll tell you that Friday night officially marked the beginning of the Christmas season at the Heine Winery, and they did it up in a big way with the lighting of Uncle Harry's giant Heine at 8 p.m. Yeah, right down in front of the opening of the Heine Wine Gift Shop, and it was great. If you didn't get a chance to see Uncle Harry's Heine all lit up Friday night, it will remain in that condition through the first of the year. Now, drop down anytime and take a look. I mean, a Heine that's big isn't going to go anywhere, is it? The only thing that marred the entire evening was one troublemaker who started throwing rocks at Uncle Harry's Heine as soon as Ophelia lit it up. Now, he was quickly apprehended by the Mount Hope Police Department and hauled off. Yeah, then the celebration continued as planned. One of the highlights of the evening was the caroling, which preceded the lighting. As people arrived, they were each given a songbook, which contained some of the favorite carols of the Heine family, and everybody was invited to sing along. Some of the songs enjoyed most by the crowd were Heine Bells, a special rendition of Jingle Bells written by Seymour Heine, and I Saw Mommy Grabbing Santa's Heine underneath the mistletoe last night. All in all, the evening was a rousing success, and everyone in attendance had a wonderful time. More tomorrow from the Heine Winery in beautiful downtown Mount Hope, where they say you only go around once in life. Grab for all the Heine you get. A day without Heine is like a weekend with Morley Safer.
And if you'd like to have not a free Heine Wine shirt, but just a Heine Wine t-shirt, you can get one now, available in Navy, Maine, and
there you go. Heine Winery, one of the classic bits there.
The great thing about those, it was kind of like SNL, was those scripts were written, and they're so funny that most of the time just couldn't even get through the scripts without just absolutely cracking up. And so that was the fun part of those.
And he had to deliver those, too, in a way that made people laugh. I mean, you couldn't just read them. Like you said, you had to make it funny, you know?
And he
could do it.
He could make anything funny, and he was just a gem to hang around. And I think one of the things, too, is talking to Bob, especially over the last few weeks, is that he was always really funny and always very jovial, but in his final days, the last time I talked to him was late February, and stopped by his house when we were getting ready to head out of town, and even when he was in the hospital, is definitely a more subdued and serious Bob. You know, I mean, he knew his health was in bad shape, and to kind of set aside all the humor for a while and see the tender heart of Bob, because he really had a very loving, tender heart, and like a lot of us, would use humor to cover up things and as a coping tool a lot of times. And he was hilarious, but had a very tender, very sweet side to him as well. And so I'm sure he would be absolutely touched with all the great outpouring of love for him. So thanks to everybody who's called in and posted on the Facebook page.
And Terry mentioned yesterday, Terry's the guy you're hearing with Bob on these bits from the 80s, who still works here with Eagle, that he had talked with Bob a week or so ago. And Bob says, I just miss everybody. I just miss him. He really, we were his family, and he missed being around the people that he worked with.
My biggest fear for Bob was, what happens if Bob gets so old he can't do this job anymore? Because, this is his passion. This is everything. And I can't imagine, what if he ever has to do something else? It would kill him,
right,
to have to go do something else. And so the fact that Bob could end his radio career on the air, and especially on a great station like My 93.1, just perfect. What a way to go out.
And I agree 100%. Let's take a break real quick. 8:38 at My 93.1.
At Pratt Internal Medicine Group, our highly trained doctors are here to care for you. Whether you're a young adult or you're into your later years, managing your health is important to us. With over a century of combined experience You can be assured you will receive award-winning health care and personalized customer service. To schedule an appointment, call Pratt Internal Medicine Group at 672-7415.
Hey, have you heard? Cool Beans at 3rd and Main, downtown Hutchinson, is now open for dinner. Come down and see us any weeknight. We now offer happy hour snacks, a full line of Boulevard craft beer, wine, and some very cool cocktails, in addition to our regular menu. We'll also have weekly entertainment featuring local talent. So come on in and get your groove on with some feel-good food and cool brews. You can check our weekly entertainment schedule and our food and drink specials on Facebook.
Tommy Williams, Chief Instructor and Senior Master of American Karate and Martial Science, has a mission. Reach one, teach one, because fitness is an attitude. He wants his students to achieve excellence by matching hard work with potential in their lives at any age. Martial arts training is about life skills, self-discipline, self-confidence, and self-esteem. Students will be instructed in the martial arts of Taekwondo, Goju, Kimpo, and Modern Arnis. Newly opened is our fitness kickboxing boot camp. Come into American Karate and Martial Science at 526B Eastport or visit AmericanKarateAndMartialScience.com.
It's time for those tax refunds, and Your Wireless World has the device you've been saving for. Hi, this is Jake Martin at Your Wireless World. Have a refund coming? Come get the amazing Samsung Galaxy S5 that is not only fast, but has an amazing 16-megapixel camera. Or how about the very cool Samsung Note 3? iPhone 5, LGs, Motorola's. We have a large selection of 4G LTE phones to fit your budget. All backed by America's best network. Your Wireless World, First Main McPherson, and in the Hutchinson Mall.
What is the Heartland Way? It's our credit union's philosophy of how we treat our members with every interaction and go beyond delivering valuable financial solutions.
The Heartland Credit Union Way is innovative. Hi, I'm Zach Klobes, VP of Technology. We stay on the leading edge of technology and security, so members can bank conveniently knowing their money is safe.
Innovative. It's the Heartland Way. Heartland Credit Union in Hutchinson, Haven, Newton, Wichita, and online at www.hcu.coop.
841 at My 93.1. It's Casey Osborne and Darren Dunn and the Bob Walker Tribute Show. Let's do a real quick Bob Walker classic bit here. Bob and Terry Michaels from the old 102.1. Let me see what we have. I don't know what this is. It's good, though. Otherwise, I wouldn't have saved it. So here it is.
Nearly famous Bob and Terry.
I don't have.
Fester, come in
I got to go. Late as it is with the weather and such,
Yeah.
I got to get out on my route.
You got to get going, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Do you take it pretty easy when there's some freezing rain?
Yeah, I let a smile be my umbrella and everything. I heard a good one last night.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
What was that?
Why did the chicken go to the other playground?
I don't know
why the chicken go to the other playground.
Puncher here.
To get to the other slide. I got to be going off now, Bob.
Yeah, I think we'll let you go.
So long.
Have a good and safe route today.
Bye-bye.
6:48. We'll take a look at the news coming up next.
Mailman, I guess, there from the old 102.1. And I thought it'd be appropriate to bring in the man you're hearing with Bob Walker on many of these bits, Terry Michaels, who actually, your name is Terry Jurd, of course. Mm-hmm. That's your radio name. Mm-hmm. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me.
You knew Bob very well, like we all did. You worked with him for so many years. And, of course, you were with him back in the olden days, quote unquote. I don't like calling it the olden days.
Thanks for dating me.
But we're going to miss the guy. Do you have any funny Bob stories or anything that people might want to hear because you were so close to him for so long?
Funny Bob stories. That's like asking me if the weather in Kansas changes.
That's right.
There's a lot of them. Gosh, I remember a bunch of them. First of all, I met Bob in 1980 when I was working on the air at KSKU. And he came in from Atlanta, Georgia. And had lunch with him, interviewed for the job, got done with the lunch. He looked at me and he says, so think I ought to come here? And I was, sure, yeah, fine, great. And he looked at me and started laughing. So that was kind of a joke because he knew that he was going to come and be a part of something that I think that he wasn't able to do back in Atlanta. So he was really looking forward to that. That isn't necessarily a funny story, but it is a story that really kind of kicked off knowing Bob for 35 years. I can't believe I'm saying that. Bob was 30 years old. I was 25 when we met. I remember specifically, in answer to your question, it was Thanksgiving morning. We did the morning show on Thanksgiving morning. We were live. We were at the old building out on 1120 North Halstead. So we get there in the morning and how you doing? I'm tired and yeah, me too. And what do you got planned for today? And we talked about that. So we do the show like we normally do the show. And with Bob, you kind of had to just go with what he was going to just go with. Because a lot of times if you listen to some of the bits you're playing back, I'll probably say, really? How'd that work out? Because I didn't know where he was going, but it always would lead to him. Well, we're about halfway through the morning there on Thanksgiving morning, and I said, man, it's going to be nice today. We ought to go do something. We ought to go play golf. He goes, want to right now? I go, actually, I would. I have my golf clubs out in the car. He goes, let's put on a long record. So we put on like a 6-minute song from Wham, kind of dating myself. And we go outside and we start hitting golf balls across the street at 1120 North Halstead. We weren't any good, so we didn't hit any buildings, and there were no cars on Thanksgiving morning. About the time we'd been out there for about 10 minutes. So I think we had dead air, and we came back in, and Bob said, we just want to take a pause to thank everybody for Thanksgiving Day.
Moment of silence.
Moment of silence. But that's just kind of the way he was. I mean, I listened to the little bits you played there right before we got on the air. With Bob, I didn't know where he was going to go. I just didn't know what he was going to do. But he would give me a punchline to set him up. So I was in back preparing one day to go on the air. I was getting ready to do the news, and I walked in right before he keyed the mic to go on the air. He said, say you saw Grandma at downtown on Main Street with a mallard duck. I said, okay. So I walk in, and we do the call letters, KSKU, 102.1, rockin', all that. And Grandma comes in, and he does all the voices. And I said, hey, Grandma, by the way, I saw you downtown yesterday. What were you doing with the mallard drake? And I don't even remember what the punchline was. He had a punchline, and that's kind of how Bob was.
That takes an amazing amount of foresight and talent to be able to think like that.
Mm-hmm. I heard you talking this morning about sports. If you know Bob, he really did love sports, but he didn't really follow the details of sports. And so you could tell him anything, and he would believe you on the air, even if it was wrong. And so
that's funny.
The idea was to get Bob to laugh, because that one was he was at his funniest, because he could work to where he could just respond and ad-lib off of things like that.
I'm going to play a bit here from January 1986, Terry. You and Bob actually admitting on the air that he was burning trash in his backyard.
Well, he probably was.
I'm sure he was. Here's the bit.
Thought about you yesterday.
What happened? What happened bad?
I was out in the back burning trash.
You weren't, were you?
Yeah, I did. You know those plastic containers that you buy water in?
Right.
Mm-hmm. I was watching them, burn up and fizzle.
Those?
And that little bitty piece of water there on the end that you didn't drink, it was psst. And I thought, golly, Terry'd be over here. He'd have a good time with this.
Gee, it's such a fond memory of me.
And then the old copies of Hutch News burning with the Balboa waterbed just going up in smoke.
What were you doing out burning trash yesterday? You can't do that.
It backed up.
You trashed it?
Yeah, we got a little back room there in the house where no man goes. And
not even your cats go back there to dig around, do they?
Cats won't even use the John back there anymore. But Pooper and Libby, if you're listening, you can. The stench oozing out of this room got so bad that it was like seeping under the door. Old newspapers and junk. So I just burned them.
So you just went back and burned them?
Yes.
Did anybody come by and say anything to you about that? It is a city ordinance. You can't do that. No.
There you go. And Bob, that hasn't changed much, I don't think. He's probably got a back room back there somewhere where that stuff goes.
Okay, I'm just going to plead the fifth on that. I'm just going to plead the fifth.
You're going to plead the fifth on that?
Why tarnish the memory?
Right. Well, we all have a room like that, I think, in some way. But yeah. Well, Terry, you guys had a great morning show back in the day.
That's nice of you to say.
I'll tell you, so many classic bits. I'm going to play one more while you're in the room that I want you to hear.
Okay.
And I'm trying to find it here. I apologize that I don't have it right on top here. I tried to organize this last night, and obviously didn't do a very good job.
Obviously, you did a great job putting it all together in a day, finding all those old tapes.
It's taken me a couple of minutes here to find each thing.
Well, while you're looking for it, Bob and I were talking. We've talked through the years about, what we ought to do. This is Bob to me. We ought to do? We ought to probably just get our old Bob and Terry tapes. I said, Bob, nobody cares about Bob and Terry anymore. That was 25, 30 years ago. He just laughed, and I said, actually, you ought to save those. You probably ought to save them, and I think, Casey, you probably helped him save some of that stuff, because we used to, what we call in the business, air check our show every day, and we'd go back and listen to it, and I'd say, Bob, you probably really shouldn't say that. And then he'd laugh and he'd use it the next day. He just would be that way. But you ready to find your bit? Go ahead.
I did. And Terry mentioned air checks. That's where these are coming from. Bob gave me these tapes they're cassette tapes that he recorded back when he was on the air, and then I would transfer them to CD form. And there's 3 or 4 cassettes still at my house I never did finish. And every day for a while, he's like, "You get those tapes done yet?" I'm like, not yet. I never did finish them, so I still have them. But here's the bit, Terry. This is from January of '86. Maybe you can shed some light on what happens here.
Okay.
The book is available now in the gift shop at the Heine Winery in beautiful downtown Mount Hope. Oh, you want to come in here and do that on the air? Oh, when you pick up the book, immediately turn to page 5. This information could prove to be invaluable in days to come. These are very sensitive mics, Terry.
I was clear back on 17th Street.
I know. Okay. 200,000 watts and a man's blowing his nose.
It all goes back to my childhood.
Oh.
Drainage is what that's called. Get back to what we're doing. I know there'll be a meeting at 10 now.
Oh. You didn't come in with yellow shoes, did you?
No, but I will.
When you pick up the book, immediately turn to page 5. This information could prove to be invaluable in days to come. Have you ever been out there, had a tire go flat on you, and there's no puncture in the tire? It just gone flat. Well, up until now, you've had to take the tire.
Okay, so I'm not sure what happened there, Terry, but it was obviously pretty funny.
Well, I didn't try to make him laugh, but if you get Bob to laughing, he was really funny. Well, what happened was I had a cold, and so Bob was getting ready to do his Heine wine commercial, which we would say, okay, before we go on the air, we cannot laugh because this is going to make you laugh. Well, that was going on, so I went in the other room, and I tried to blow my nose.
Right.
And Bob turned around, and you heard the rest of it. And then he just that and a combination of the Heine wine commercials. So,
well, Bob laughing is contagious. First of all, it's hard to keep from laughing when he's laughing, and it's a joke by itself.
It was because we tried to get him to laugh. I tried to get him to laugh off the air because when he'd come back on the air, he'd be laughing, and we'd have to get the audience included with what we were laughing at. Mm-hmm. So one day he says, "What do you have for the news?" And he's been really serious off the air. He goes, "What do you have for the news?" I said, "Oh, they're going to be talking about some economics that Ronald Reagan has come out with," and he was about ready to go on the air. And I said, "And also we're going to talk about Herb Villachet parting his hair with a backhoe." And he turned on his mic and he heard what I said and he died laughing. And he laughed. And I go, "Bob, you okay?" And put it all on him. But that you heard how he was, he would be confectious. So.
All right. Well, Terry, thanks for coming in and talking to us.
Well, thanks for having me. One thing before you go, thanks for putting it together.
Sure.
Casey and Darren. One thing about Bob, I'll say, the Lord gave him a lot of talent. You could really see that in him. And he loved what he did here. He loved it when we worked together. He loved it in Atlanta. He loved it here. And I heard Jason talking about if Bob would have to go off the air, we don't know how he would have done because he just had a hard time doing anything else other than this. So thanks for putting it together, Casey. Thanks for having me.
No, it's our honor. Thanks for coming in. We're going to do a news break, and then we'll have a couple more Bob Walker bits here before we wrap up at 9 o'clock at 8:53 right now in My 93.1.
Good morning. A plea hearing for a 35-year-old parolee jailed after drugs were found in a search of his residence is scheduled for Monday, but it was pushed back till tomorrow. As it stands now, Bruce Alexander Jr. charged with possession of meth with intent to distribute, possession of drug paraphernalia with intent to distribute, and criminal possession of a firearm. Alexander remains jailed in the Reno County Detention Center on an $18,000 bond. Kansas lawmakers say Wichita could face legal action from the state attorney general if it does not remove the proposal to lessen marijuana penalties from its city elections ballot. Attorney General's office released the opinion Friday saying that the proposal conflicts with state marijuana laws and the move would be considered void even if it were to pass. The Illinois Supreme Court scheduled to hear arguments today over a massive state employees' pension bailout that a lower court tossed last fall. The case is being cast as one of the most critical financial issues to face Illinois and its government in a half a century. The issue is whether benefit cuts to current state employees violate state constitutional protection. In sports, Nathan Henry has resigned as the Hutchinson High School boys basketball coach. Henry's team was 4-17 this past season and lost in the first round of the 6A sub-state playoffs. HCC softball team winners yesterday over Cloud County 4-2 and 12-4. HCC baseball team defeated Northern Oklahoma College 18-7. Kansas City Chiefs are said to be in the works on releasing Dwayne Bowe. The often troubled wide receiver has not produced despite getting a big contract just a few years ago. And the Kansas City Royals lost for the first time in the preseason. They dropped a game to the White Sox 6-2. And the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 332 points in yesterday's trading. It will start the day at 17,662. For more news, weather, and sports, go to HutchPost.com. Your forecast is next from the Eagle Media Center. I'm Rod Zook.
This is Phil with Mel Hamilton Ford. I want to take your worry out of buying a used vehicle. Let me tell you about our certified pre-owned vehicle program. These vehicles go through a 170-point inspection, come with a 7-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage, roadside assistance, and much, much more. You'll have peace of mind if something goes wrong, you are covered. We have special interest rates, terms, and payments to fit your wants, needs, and most importantly, your budget. There isn't a better place to buy your next certified pre-owned vehicle. Check us out online at mhford.com and come let me show you why we say we're better, we're proving it. You be the judge.
Are you a qualified diesel mechanic ready to make your next career step up? MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge is seeking 2 career-oriented qualified diesel mechanics, offering a premium compensation package with a 40-hour work week. Full-time benefits include health, vision, and dental insurance, along with paid vacation. Located 45 minutes north of Wichita, MJ's is offering premium pay commensurate with experience and relocation assistance to qualified techs. Call Matt Jarvis, 1-800-835-0069. That's 1-800-835-0069. MJ's Truck Repair of Moundridge.
Okay, what are you wearing right now? Nothing. That's right. So mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. Socks going first, then shoes, right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops, the rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. Visit 2min2x.org to find out more. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Next time you're craving something a little spicy, think Hot Links from Hog Wild Pit Barbecue. Here's Bob Wilson, General Manager from Hutchinson.
Customers rave about our Hot Links. They're tasty and spicy. And when the heat of the spicy fades, you get the full flavor without the pain. Try them and you'll become a fan of Hog Wild's Hot Links too.
Looking to spice things up a bit? Stop by Hog Wild for some tasty Hot Links at 24th and Main in Hutchinson. 5 locations in Wichita, also El Dorado and Salina.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
Stretch. Your tax refund at the Sleep Shop and Furniture Gallery's tax back clearance. Bonded leather sofas in 3 colors, only $321. Ultra plush dual reclining sofas, $641. Massive 2-tone queen 4-poster bed with underbed storage, now $561. Plus great buys on youth beds and casual dining too. Queen mattress sets start at $181. Queen memory foam mattress with adjustable base, now only $891. Stretch. Your refund farther at Sleep Shop and Furniture Gallery's tax back clearance. Going on now. 11 North Main, downtown Hutchinson.
8:57 at My 93.1 KHMY Pratt Hutchinson, the Bob Walker Tribute Show. We're going to try and squeeze in a couple of more bits here, a couple of more Bob Walker bits before we take off here. I had a request for a Modine bit. Jerry wants to hear a Modine bit, and I happen to have a couple of more. So here is, let's see. Here's one of his characters, Modine. She was the cleaning lady, I believe, and she would come in and vacuum often when he was on the air. And, of course, it was him doing the voice, and here it is.
And, oh, no. What is she doing?
I don't know what she's doing.
I am minding my own business this morning. Can't you see I'm waiting for my little son?
Well, yeah, what's all the papers and pens
He's doing his homework?
I most certainly am.
Where'd you get that attaché case? I've never seen you have one of those.
I bought it over at downtown Hutchinson just the other day.
Well, that's pretty nice.
Well,
I didn't know you had that much poise in yourself.
Got it. What did you say?
I says it really shows that you have a lot of poise.
Well, you're very observant.
Good.
But look at here, fool. I am trying to find out a geography lesson here. What is the nickname of New York City? I can't seem to come up with it.
Well, that's an easy one, Modine. That's, what? The Big Apple.
The Big Apple, yeah. All right. Let me write that down here.
What are you're helping your son with the...
Yeah, he's a little bit under the weather. He's a little bit ill.
Oh, he's not feeling good?
He's ill.
He's what?
He's a little bit ill. ill this morning.
Not EEL.
Ill.
Is that EEL
Oh, shut
or
up, too, while I'm
ILL?
talking. Leave me alone.
Okay.
It says here, Boston is a bean town, right?
Right.
And they call Chicago windy?
One of his many voices there, Modine, the cleaning lady that would make a visit. She also made a visit to My 93.1 in the early days when he was doing the morning show here. So there you go. Let's do one more before we wrap it up here. This is this is kind of a one-liner, but I found it pretty amusing. This is a quickie. Here's Bob, January 1986.
I give you my endless love. You know what endless love is, don't you? Yeah, that's two people that are blindfolded playing tennis. Oh, boy. I'll shut up. It's 7:14.
Don't you like that one?
That is good.
All right, well, it's 8:59. We have to wrap up the tribute show here. Jerry, you want to slip on in and anything you want to say before we head on now? Kind of our farewell to a great friend and a fellow broadcaster.
Well, nobody says it better than he did. Why don't we give him his tagline?
And we will give him his tagline. Luckily, we do have a copy of that, so we'll be playing that.
Have we trademarked that just in case?
It should be trademarked.
Okay.
Absolutely. Darren, anything for us? Anything you want to say?
I have maybe one or two Bob stories, but I'll save those. I think one of the things that we talk about, though, is when you're telling me that he used to sign toothpicks. He'd autograph toothpicks and give those out. And I thought maybe you meant, a pack of toothpicks. But no, a single toothpick, and somehow write his name small enough with a Sharpie or whatever else. And people just love those. It'd be great to hear from people that maybe still have those. But a nice smattering and outpouring of messages from folks remembering Bob. And, those folks can continue to call in 662-993-1 and let us know their best stories, their fondest memories of Bob, or even coming to the station here at 9th and Main. We have a huge card that KCU put together that has some wonderful Bob Walker pictures, and they can sign that card. And the one on the front, I think, is the funniest because I don't think I've seen a Bob Walker picture look so professional that's on the front of this card. So stop by and see it and sign it to remember Bob Walker.
All right, well said. And I want to read a couple of Facebook comments. People have been commenting on our Facebook page. Megan Lancaster writes, "Rest in peace, Bob. You'll be truly missed. Love hearing your voice every morning." Nicole Garcia Williams, "I enjoyed listening to you in the morning." Rhonda Harrell says, "Enjoyed listening to him in the mornings. He will be missed." Michelle Wheeler, "That's sad. He was a good one." Kimberly Simmons, "Bob was the voice that woke me up every morning. He'll be missed. Truly a one-of-a-kind. Prayers for his family."
Have you noticed that every single one of these are female?
I got some males here.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
I think I do. Yeah, there's one. Brian Lemon says, "Sad news. What a great person, both on and off the air. You made a difference." Jim Howie, "Missing him already. Made me laugh on many occasions every morning. Rest in peace, Bob." Hundreds of comments, and we invite you to add yours to our Facebook page, or as Darren said, come in and you can sign the card, which is more for kind of a tangible thing with Bob's pictures that we can have with your signatures. So I invite you to come by the 9th and Main Studios. It's 9:02. I think it's appropriate to have a minute of silence for Bob Walker. Let's take a minute to think of Bob and how much he'll be missed here, both on My 93.1 and off the air, as a lot of people will. We love you, Bob, and we're going to miss you. And the only appropriate way to end the tribute show would be for Bob to do it his own way.
From smack dab in the middle of the USA, Hutchinson, Kansas. And I say, hey, if you're listening in the car, thanks for the ride. I'll be back Monday morning at 5. Come get me, mother. I'm through.